What's going on, Oasis? It's good to see everyone. Well, at least virtually.
Yeah, it's good to be heard.
Yeah, it's good to be heard. That's right. Good call, man. Hey, yesterday was a great day.
It was.
Just seeing everybody, had a really cool feeling in there. Good buzz. It was just a good day. I think worship and Pastor Bradley getting up and delivering the goods.
That he did.
Yeah, he did.
Started off right.
He did, man. It was strong. So hope everybody was able to make it. Certainly and we're not going to dive into every little thing, but certainly there's a lot of, I think there's just a lot of heavy hearts kind of going into this weekend and maybe going into this week with just people passing and all the things that kind of go along with that. Today's passage actually it plays into that, at least for me. After hearing Pastor Bradley yesterday, and man, it just hit me. It just kind of hit me pretty hard, especially that last part that he was talking about with, we do all of these things, man. We have all of this knowledge, and we get these gifts, and we learn all of these things, and we become stable, that we're not being pushed all around and all the things that go along with that. But what's the end result, so that we can share it?
Yeah.
We can, the chief end of man is the glory of God. And part of that as sharing his glory is just sharing all the things that he has done for us and how amazing God is. Last night in the student ministry, we had our meeting was, we had 4 different tables, and the whole point of it was every table read the Great Commission, and then 2 tables read it's a passage out of 1 Corinthians. It was, this is the gospel, and the whole point of it was to deal with this stuff, but then discuss it, but then how do you talk to other people about it? So like once you come to terms with this, because the reality is, I think there are times that we don't always know exactly what to say about God. We don't know how to approach these conversations, and so today's passage is just going to be, for me, it's just one simple way that we can do this, and it's actually a little bit easier than we think it is. It's definitely easier than I make it out to be, because I overthink everything. So this is going to be out of Colossians chapter 3. We're going to start in verse 14. We're only going to go through 17, and it's more of an encouragement as this is being written. And it says, "And above all these put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. And let the peace of Christ rule in your heart, to which indeed you were called in one body." And I love this. "And be thankful." Let the word of Christ, verse 16, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs that with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus. Give thanks to God the Father through him." I love this 3-word sentence here, "and be thankful." I think one of the easiest ways for us to just take a step back and to show all the things that we have learned and God has brought us through and is teaching us is just to simply sit back and just be thankful, and be thankful openly.
Yeah.
Man, just sharing like how good God is to us, even in the most crazy times in our life, even in the messy times, even when we mess it up, we can still see God moving in the periphery, right? And how amazing is God that He is still with us, that He is faithful to us even when maybe we're not the most faithful to Him.
Yeah. We barely acknowledge our thankfulness.
Yeah. We beg God when everything's going sideways. But man, when we got things all lined up and everything is perfect and shiny and everything smells great, we did that. And it's not the truth, man. God was there, and God needs the love he doesn't need it, but he deserves the love and the respect, period statement. He deserves us being thankful. And so that may be my encouragement. Is I'm going to read through 16 and 17 one more time, and I want to encourage everyone at home. My portion of this is going to be pretty short because I just think it was pressed on me that I need to demonstrate my faith a little more. And one of the ways I can do it is just being thankful for the things that God has given me. So I'm going to read these passages one more time. And it says, Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus. Give thanks to God the Father through him. Whatever we do, giving thanks to God for the ability to do it. Giving thanks to God for the situations that we have. Giving thanks to God that we know we're going to make it. And truth is a lost and dying world needs the message that we have of we're going to make it. We're going to be okay.
Endure.
Yeah, to endure because God's going to be there and he's moving through us. So my encouragement to everybody at home, press into God, press into each other, but let's be thankful. Let's be a people that is just like this. So go to Colossians 3:16 and 17, read that. When we come in to sing our songs, man, we're going to sing them like we know God.
Yeah.
And be that example. So
Singing in the presence, man, that really ties into perfectly of where I'm diving off into. And then I just got two verses I want to look at. And this is the entry of David's kingship. And one of the first things he did, this is 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 1. It says, And David said, Is there still anyone left of the house of Saul that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake? And this special moment that David actually takes off to remember his covenant relationship with Jonathan, not contractual, not just like, oh man, he really helped me out in that tight squeeze of he shot the arrows and let me know like, oh, okay, his dad's ready to kill me. Right. You know, and it's so much of what that even represents of a son realizing that his father is in the wrong and God's hand is upon David. And this, the wisdom and just that situation alone to handle that type of dynamic is something crazy. So looking at how this really kind of goes of being thankful, man, David, he really dug into this. And the next verse, actually verse 3, it says that I may show the kindness of God to him. There was one person left from Saul's lineage, and I'm going to butcher the name.
Oh, God, it's awful.
Mephibosheth was the son of Jonathan, and became crippled because the nurse trying to take him to safety, thinking that he was in danger, dropped him, not sure how, but crippled both his feet. And so Ziba, who was the head of the house of Saul, knew he was still alive, knew where he was, and he said, "Go and get him." He said, "Go and bring him up." You know, and even that kind of element, I got a couple of questions just really kind of for us to think about. One, how often do you seek out someone to do good for or to show kindness to? Like, how often do you seek someone out? Like, I think sometimes we might look for opportunities, but are we on a mission? Like, hey, where is the other relative that I can do good to, that I can show God's word to?
Man, that is such a good call, because I think that we do it when it drops in our lap. You know, we're more than willing to be like, man, I'll help anybody as long as they're coming my direction, or or you know, it's on a street corner or something like that, or let's put some fangs with it. I'll do anything in my church when I'm asked. Drop that little nugget right there.
Ask being the thing of a little bit of tension there.
I'm not looking for it.
But yeah, I think that's a hard question. Like, how often do you seek someone out? Like, you're on a mission to seek someone out, to show kindness to. And on the flip side of it, the son of Jonathan, man, he fell at David's feet and said, I am your servant. And I think one of the quickest things that really kind of makes this thing work really well is how often do we show the attitude of undeserving?
Oh, yeah.
Because what David did was he reinstated all of Saul's inheritance, because technically it was David's, because David married Saul's daughter.
He gave him like all his land back, everything.
Yeah, land, house, everything. So I'm like, just because he could, not because it was kind of making the law right, but technically he was in the right already. But he willingly gave that back to him. And so that was one of man, how often do we have the attitude of man undeserving, and really kind of settling us down. But one other verse I want to read real quick, and really it's a portion of the verse, and this is verse 10. It says, now Ziba, who was Saul's servant, Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. This is one of those verses or one of those sentences in the scripture that's like, man, why is that there? And a lot of times, let's be honest, we don't even pause to think, why is it there? We read it and we go on. But this is there to show the weight and the magnitude of, or I guess the position of honor that was bestowed back on Jonathan's son as a son of the king, because David also said, you will sit at my table at all of the celebrations. Right. And so he is now a son sitting there with all the other sons and future kings, I guess you could say. There's three there had their stint.
I mean, it's the royalty.
Yes. I mean, like England.
Yeah.
Walking around with all the pomp. And Ziba, he was there to reference that Jonathan's son's servant had servants. Mm-hmm. And like that, and people, they say, oh, even my servants have servants. But man, there was weight with that. There was magnitude with that. And so I think here's a little bit of reality for us. How much do we desire to be mentioned because of how much honor we can give? Mm. Like God mentioned me so that I can just express, here is all the honor that I have given for you and to you, and that's it. Yeah, that's the desire to be mentioned, not because of the honor I have received or earned, but the honor that I can give away. Yeah, and I think that's a huge statement. This chapter of chapter 9 is a real short chapter. It really just kind of points out just an amazing element for us to strive for. And I have a little show and tell today. There was a group of people, of individuals of Oasis, went out to show some nurses some love. Yeah. And so this is them. They had some signs out, and they had all of the goodie bags put together. And it was just really great to see our church coming to the position and stepping up to the point of, man, this is what I have to give. And if anything, this shows us that it's not hard. Right. It's not hard for us to give what we've been given. Yeah. Man, we all got snacks. We all got snacks, and we all got time. Let's go seek out some people who we can give snacks to. Yeah. And I think you'll be surprised of not how challenging it is, but really almost how challenging it is on the other side of people to receive it. I remember one year, this is probably 8 years ago, move-in day. College starts today on WTNAC, and so we would go on move-in day, which is usually 3 days before or something like that, and we took literally a truck bed of ice and Plains Dairy water bottles to hand out. Like people moving in, all of their room more than what they should. Dad's out there sweating through his shirt, and we would go out and hand people water. You'd be surprised how many people looked at us and we were like, "No, I'm good." Yeah. I'm like, okay, I see you sweating your weight there, but it's interesting. But when you give kindness to people, it almost sets them back, and they don't know how to respond. And I kind of love putting people in that area, because they have to, and that's when they have to deal with it. Yeah, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with the kindness that's been shown to you, and if you're going to ignore it, well, I guess that's kind of on you. But if anything, we need to show that kindness so that God doesn't come to us of, why didn't you show what I gave to you? Yeah. He doesn't hold that against us, because that's even in His Word. I will go to them if they've did not heed the warning. It's now on them. Right. And that's a position that we got to strive to be in, is to show His kindness that He's already given to us, and it's not hard. Right. That's all I got is looking at David, and that's that amazing first element of, is there someone I can show the kindness of God to? Yeah, man, that's and seeking them out.
That's so strong, and just going into that of and what you were just talking about, man. We don't deserve that. We're just like that kid. You know, we're broken. We bring nothing to the table, but God sought us out to shower us with kindness and His grace and mercy, and we just don't deserve it. He would be right to not do anything about it, but out of His richness and His grace, His mercy, and He just reached out to us.
And put us at the table.
And put us at the table. Man, and let's be thankful, you know? Like, how incredible. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, we hope that you have a good rest of the week. Please be sure, a few weeks ago, we were talking about this. Be sure that we're having these conversations with each other on a regular basis. We need to be encouraging each other and talking to each other about what God is doing in our life. We want a healthy church. This is how we're going to do it, man. We're going to have to start having these conversations with each other and pushing each other to be better and closer to the Lord and seeking opportunities to serve and going out of our way to represent Christ well. So I just want to encourage everyone at home that's watching this, somehow today, make that happen.
Seek Him out.
Seek Him out. That's it. Love you guys.